So America has 5.7 million more childless women than it ever expected. And you want to know why? We're talking 11.8 million fewer births in the last 17 years. Women ain't trying to have babies. And folks are like, what's going on? They're scratching their heads. They don't get why. You want me to tell you why? Men. Some men can spend more time crying than an actual baby. And then the other side of it is, some of y'all really don't even like women. Like, you love debating women online, you love disrespecting women and doing all that stuff, but you actually really don't like women. Truth be told, some of y'all want a boyfriend, but you just won't admit it, which is fine. But don't drag women into your confusion. So when women are thinking, do I want to bring a child into this mess? They're like, nah, I really don't. And then the other side nobody talks about is the government spends so much time trying to control women's bodies. Why would a woman risk getting pregnant only to not have any control over what her body does? So the reality is this. If America wants women to have kids, y'all gotta start acting like y'all got some sense. Respect women, give them rights, and stop trying to micromanage their lives. Until then, y'all better get ready to turn that light off for yourself. You won't have a kid to go boss around and do it for you.
My favorite consequence to see a man face is when he thinks that he's going to try to trap a woman with a baby and she traps him instead.
I don't know what to do. Like, this shit get hard. I'm a single father.
That's what you get. You need to think about who you have kids with. Think about. Why are you acting like you just being here doing this shit by yourself? This is how you men act.
I ain't got no job. I can't go to school. I can't do shit.
This is how these men act when it's time to take care of a damn baby. It's crazy.
Being myself, man. It's hard. Stressful. I don't know what to do.
Why you? So you just gonna discredit me for all the help that I give you? So the help I give you ain't enough?
No, it ain't.
Okay, but he don't have his mom right now. She dropped that baby off on your ass and made you be a father. Why you wasn't there when she was pushing the baby out? I just want to hear what you gotta say. Cause everything you say.
Hearing a man cry over real life frustration heals a part of me. It makes me feel so good to hear a man cry real tears because he has to suffer the consequences of the decisions that he made and thought that he was going to be able to put that burden on a woman. And a lot of people are going to say, but that's not fair to the child. That's not fair to the child. Do you think it's any more fair to the child where they have to be raised by a woman who is suffering from postpartum depression? She has no village. Mentally, she's going through it. Emotionally, she's going through it. Financially, she's going through it. Like, a lot of the time, it's going to be easier for a son to ask his mother for help with a child than it's going to be for a woman to ask her mother for help with a child. So this is why I don't ever go feed into that BS of like, it's not fair to the child. Just like men complain about how women dump their children off onto their family members, men do the same exact thing. And if they don't have a family member to dump the child on, they will just simply get in a relationship with a woman and they will dump the child onto her. A lot of people have mentioned in the comments that the baby isn't even crying. The only person that is crying is a grown adult man that is receiving help from his mother to help him with a baby that doesn't even sound all that problematic. I don't know if this was a good day for the baby. I don't know if the baby just got the bottle and maybe it was taking a long time for the baby to finally simmer down. And finally, the baby did. But currently, the baby is not crying. The father is actually being disruptive crying and putting the baby in a predicament to potentially be disruptive and start crying. Men only understand things through consequences, not through you verbally threatening them, not by you saying what you will and what you will not tolerate. No, men only understand things by you putting their back up against the wall and shackling them to the consequences of the decisions that they are making. Women need to normalize this. Women need to normalize this. If you are in a predicament and you are realizing that you want to know what, I have a child and this is clearly not working out. Do not stop your life, because these men are never going to stop their lives once they find out that they're a father. And they're not thinking about stopping their life because they already understand that you are going to pick up the burden and decide to stop your life to be able to raise a child. He is a grown adult just like you. He is a grown, able-bodied, capable adult just like you. It took two people to make that child. It should not always be having the onus on the woman to be the one to raise a child. These are my favorite stories. I love a struggling single father. I love a struggling single father because he didn't even have to carry the baby for 9 months. He's not going through postpartum depression. He didn't have his vagina be stretched out or have somebody cut into him. He didn't even have to do any of that stuff leading into becoming a father actively with the baby. And he's over here crying and complaining about how fucking hard it is when he has help, when he literally has his mother helping him. And I love how his mother called him out and said, she pretty much told him, you should have chose better. She low-key has said you should have chose better when he was like, I can't believe this and I don't want to be a father. And she was like, well, you need to be a little bit more careful about who you're deciding to have a child with. Because men don't have to think about choosing better. They never have to think about choosing better because they don't have to deal with the consequence of being pregnant and having to raise a child. They just look at it as, okay, that was a mistake. I'll just start over with the next one. And then I'll just start over with the next one. Once they create a broken home, they forget that the home even fucking exists because they're not involved at all. They don't tell any of their future baby mamas, their future girlfriends, their future wives about all of these broken homes that they created, because as far as they're concerned, you got it taken care of. Put these men in a predicament where they have to be the ones that have to suffer the consequence of raising a child. They will figure it out. They will figure it out. You can still be involved in your child's life, but videos like this heal me every single time, because finally women are standing up and realizing that I can use my free will. I don't have to put up with this bullshit of stressing myself out of raising a child when I didn't climb on top of myself to create the child.
Research confirms that the female egg doesn't have a biological clock. It's the male sperm that does. Healthy women's eggs' mitochondrial DNA does not accumulate mutations until age 45, whereas men's sperm DNA fragmentation inevitably begins at age 30, and the older a man becomes, the more gene errors occur, backed by evidence. Therefore, time is evidently a primary limiting factor for men, not women, and pregnancies from older women with younger men are on average significantly safer than pregnancies with older men and younger women. Also, studies on increased infertility risk of women over 35 are a trick to blame women for men's shortcomings, because most women have older partners, but the study models only focus on the women's outcome of a successful or unsuccessful pregnancy, ignoring the elephant in the room. Therefore, if you want to make that argument, men don't need younger women, but women need younger men. Ladies, do you think men should marry in their 20s before they become overripe and expired? Let me know your thoughts below.
There are two things that are going to be detrimental to a man that will influence your relationship with him. The first thing is going to be the company that he keeps. The second thing is going to be the content that he interacts with.
The number one issue a man will tell me in therapy, I hear every single week, is Sean, my wife, my lady, my girl, my fiance doesn't respect me as a man. The oxygen that your man needs from you, respect and admiration. She emasculates me. She doesn't follow my leadership. She speaks to me like one of the children. She's independent. I'm no longer admired. She doesn't spend time with me. I say something about how the house looks. She gets mad. And ladies, I need y'all to hear me. It is hard for a man to deeply love a woman who doesn't respect her. I know you want love and you deserve love. And yes, love should be unconditional, but respect should be unconditional too.
We are in a male self-help epidemic when really it is just using the insecurity of men to make them go against women and make them hate women. And I don't even need to say the name of what these genres are, but I found a video that it seems like it's coming from a good place, but I really want to dismantle what this man is talking about because it is extremely harmful and it is extremely dangerous. The word emasculate should tell you a lot about how men view themselves. There is no gender equivalent from the female standpoint that would match up to the word emasculate. Because to be masculine in the terms in which we talk about them is in regards to a social construct. It requires men to wear a legitimate mask to present out into society. It is an external way that they must be viewed by society in order for them to feel like a man. There is no such thing for that as a woman. And physically, men can literally be emasculated. The phallus that they have can quite literally be cut off. No one can reach inside of a woman and take out her uterus. Unless she's getting surgery, of course. But when men say the word emasculate, they're admitting the fact that they are extremely fragile. And that in order for them to not feel so fragile and weak, you have to reduce yourself down as a woman in order to make them feel like somebody. Because the baseline for a man is a nobody. The baseline feeling for a man is a nobody. Unimportant. Invisible. Because human to human on our daily interaction, respect is a baseline. For you to say please and thank you. For you to get out of somebody's way when you are obstructing their path. For you to listen to someone complete their full thought in a conversation. These are all things that we have been taught through just basic, regular being a civilian is respect. At my own job, we literally have meetings and I am allowed to voice my opinion at said meetings. There is an expectation from my boss to take into account of what it is that I am saying. And legally, even if this doesn't happen or if there is some harm put against me in that form, I can do something using law in order to try to help mitigate this issue. But the issue is not that men want respect. What they actually want is worship. Because men are never saying that women are so disrespectful that they cannot follow the regular civil rules of respect that we display on a daily basis with other people. They are asking you to put them so high on a pedestal that you don't say anything. You allow everything. You turned a blind eye to any behavior that is harmful to you. That is not respect. That is worship. But they don't want to say the word worship because they would understand that that word would be selling the fact that they just want a slave. They just want to feel powerful because they understand that on their baseline, they don't have any. They don't have power to give birth. They don't have any power to alchemize. They are not connected to source. This is why the male genitalia is external, because it literally can be removed. It literally can be cut off. The extension that creates them to be a man can literally be taken off. So from the beginning of time, men have created artificial ways in which that part of them has to be protected because it is so fragile, because it is just so quote unquote precious that everyone has to walk on eggshells around it. Being a decent human being to a man is never going to be enough. You being nice, you actually being respectful to a man, it is never going to be enough for them. They have to see you in a predicament where you are miserable, where you are sacrificing, where you have completely lost yourself, because that is the only way for them to feel powerful, because they get to look at you and say, wow, she gave up so much of herself because I am worthy. Be careful of the men in your life that are listening to this type of rhetoric. I always deem it as a red flag when a man talks about he demands respect, he's looking for respect. He's not talking about respect. He wants someone to worship him. He wants someone to completely abandon themselves in order for him to feel like a man. If a man cannot feel like a man on his own being within himself, He was never a man to begin with. There is no amount of sacrificing that you are going to be able to do as a woman. There is not enough forgiveness that you are going to be able to do to make a man feel like a man, because it's internal. That's why their genitalia is external, because it is a reflection of them realizing that they have to fill themselves internally. No one outside of them is able to do the work for them. This is the reason why the male, it's never going to be enough for the male. It's never going to be enough for the male, because they are hollowed out on purpose, and they don't realize that you have to be your own person to fill in that hollow part of you. This is why for women, all of our things are internal. Our genitalia is internal, because we have to create life. We have to already reach inward to be able to generate something outward. Men don't have that ability. If a man ever talks to you and brings up the word respect, run. He is not talking about you respecting him. He is talking about you worshiping him. There should never be a thing outside of yourself that you are worshiping besides yourself. The only person that you should be worshiping is yourself. There should never be a person outside of you that you should be worshiping. No one is ever going to be able to pay you back with your soul, with your time, with your effort, if you decide to give that up to go worship another person. It's never going to happen, and you're going to lose yourself every single time. Why would you worship someone that already feels so empty and hollowed out that the only way that they can feel a sense of importance is to see you completely miserable, unhappy, angry, bitter, the things that they claim that they don't want you to be, but yet they want you to take on these roles of doing so happily. They want you to be angry and pretend like you're happy. They want you to be jaded and pretend like you're being optimistic. Never take on the role that a man is supposed to do on himself to prove to you that he is worthy. It is his responsibility to do so.
My mother still says, she's like, you'll get married the day you find someone who will appreciate how hard you have worked to get where you are, who will appreciate the sacrifices you made, and that's the man you will get married to. And if you don't, doesn't matter. We're in the world of science. You can still have babies. And I was like, what kind of mom says that? And even my father, like my grandmother used to always say, oh my God, she's an actress. Oh my God, she can't even cook. She'll never get married. And my dad was like, yeah, it's okay. I'll send a cook with her wherever she goes. I was like, yeah, daddy. And he was true till the day he died. Like, I had a cook with me that was pre-selected by my father. Both my parents were very progressive in their mindsets, especially coming from a country at that time, which India was, which was a little bit like this, a woman's life sort of ends when she gets married.
Some hard truths from a 53-year-old. People who are not treating you well are not going to treat you any better if you work harder. There is never, ever a perfect time to do the thing that you want to do, because we are not going to live forever. Your body is definitely going to repay you for how you treat it when you're young. Please stop hiding your age, because we're all really lucky to be getting older. Nothing is as important as any of us are making it, so stop making big issues over small things. When you have conflict with someone, 9 times out of 10, that person's already told you who they are. People you're surrounding yourself with will always impact how you're showing up in the world.